All right, so you ask single people what dating is like in Los Angeles. You usually get like a groan, right?
Yep. That response is frequently something along the lines of there's no good people out there or it's just too much trouble. So Dr. Sherrie Campbell, she disagrees.
Campbell's the author of the new book, Loving Yourself, The Mastery of Being Your Own Person. She joins us now. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So LA gets a really bad rap for not being a great city to meet someone.
It does.
Because why?
Well, it's known as the most superficial place on the planet.
Right.
That everybody's here for an agenda for their ego.
Right.
That you can't meet real people. It's all about the sex tape. You know, it's
it's
about the club scene and, you know, and everything else, because that's what everybody else hears.
Right.
And so it can get the reputation of this is not a place to find love, but I think it's in everybody's city.
Interesting.
It's multicultural.
We both came from New York before here, and I think New York is a great place to meet people because people don't have cars. You're like in and out of
You're kind of forced to
stores,
interact with a lot of
and
people
you're this
on the
close to
subway
people.
and-
So you're
Yeah.
so you're easily interacting with people. And here,
But in LA,
everybody gets in their car and they go.
Get from your car to your office.
It's a
and home.
vast city. It's wide. You know, New York is really compact and everybody's on subways. There's a great transit system. Here, if you meet someone at a club and you live in Santa Monica, but your guy lives in the Valley, you know, it's not going to
No
be
go.
geographically convenient. You're going to drive through the most car jam-packed concrete jungle really on the planet. And so the effort increases a tremendous amount. And it does make it hard. There's no trolleys
So what
like
do you
in San
do?
Fran. I think that you've got to be very strategic in where you go. If you live in Manhattan Beach, try to date someone in Manhattan Beach.
Really?
Look at what's geographically convenient. If you're going to come down here and go to a club or go out and you meet someone, look at where they live, because it's an amazing amount of effort. But there's so much to do here and so many wonderful ways to fall in love. I mean, this is a state that accepts everybody, gays, transgenders, every culture's here. There's incredible movies to go to, restaurants, themes for every culture. I mean, it could fit for everybody. So I think it's about being strategic and knowing yourself.
When you talk about people who kind of aren't maybe not upfront about who they are when you first meet them, because almost everybody comes here from somewhere else. When we talk about the transgender community, this brings up a good point. A lot of people have transitioned.
Yes.
When you meet someone, what's okay to ask? Like,
You know-
or when should you have to tell someone if maybe you have?
Had switched over.
Yeah.
I would say that information, considering it's going to be such an effect on the relationship, that you should tell as soon as possible. But I
Right.
feel like most people put their best foot forward in any dating situation. I feel like people need to know who they are. A lot of people in LA don't. You know, they are putting on an air, and that's going to make finding love really hard. Because if you don't know who you are and you don't love and respect yourself, no one else is going to come in and do that job for you. Then you have one bad relationship after another, and that ends up being your pattern. So outside of geography, you need to know who you are and what you want. And I think that makes it more
How
clear.
do you find out who you are?
Work on yourself.
Yeah. Wow.
So you have to
Work on yourself. Know your friends. Have people that you love. What do you do to keep yourself in shape? Or what do you do to keep yourself well-read? Or what are your passions? You've got to really embrace yourself in that, you know, and expand yourself as much as you can into self-development. And then you know who you are, because you can say, I'm a mom. I write for Entrepreneur. I write for Huffington Post. I'm a therapist. I'm whatever. I know who I am. And so it makes my life a little more clear. A lot of my women in my practice, even in Orange County, don't know who they are. And they put all their energy into the man, and he has to help define them.
Because there is so much energy, knowing the single women and men that we know that want to meet people out there. There's so much energy put into trying to find the right guy. Like it's just relentless.
It's relentless.
But what's the problem then? You know,
think
I mean, it's different for
desperation.
everyone. Yeah.
I think desperation is a lot of it. Wanting love to make your life important, right? Make you important first, and then I think love will find its way. Because look at the online dating sites. There's a gazillion.
Right, and people use them as like a full-time job, you know? They're
do.
dating on those 5 nights a week to find
Are you okay
somebody.
with those?
You know, I see a lot in my office. So you'll have married men on those sites dating. So, or
Right.
married women also on those sites dating. Again, the more clear you are in yourself, the better and more intuitive you're going to be about other people.
This is a question I see come up that causes a problem. When you're unemployed, it's tough to meet because the people's first question is, what do you do? And when you don't do anything, or you're still looking for a job, or you're out of work for the time, people have a hard time kind of finding themselves, or
That's a really good point.
what do you do?
I would not date at that point. I would.
Really?
I really
so
would.
you're out of a job and you have to be lonely?
Yeah. Because imagine picking that up as the person who's going to date you.
Right.
You're going to pick up and date a lost person, right? So if you have the time and you're being gifted time alone, you're not going to get that if you think about it over the course of a lifetime that much. Embrace it. Find yourself, find your job, then head out there. You'll have more confidence.
What about hooking up? Yeah, Tinder, Grindr, all of those apps out there.
right.
But then there's like people who date and they're wondering like when it's okay. How
Yeah.
many dates?
How many dates
It's
until
always,
you
it's always, I'm sure you get
become
that question all the
intimate?
time.
I get it all the time.
And?
I do. So if you are going to be a hookup person, you have to be clear about that.
Oh.
And I try to say, if you're going to be a hookup person, then be a hookup person, but don't then lie and say you're not a hookup person, because then you confuse yourself, you confuse everybody else. Now you have responsibilities you don't want to deal with. So I help my patients to differentiate between, are you a hookup person or do you want a relationship? They're fundamentally different.
All right, we should tell people you have pink hair for a reason.
I do. I have pink hair for a patient who has breast cancer, and 40 years old. She's got both breasts removed, and I felt like she's only 4 years younger than myself, and I would support her in this way through her challenge.
All right.
So
Puts
everyone
everything
should support breast
into
cancer.
perspective, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Are you a hookup person?
Are you a hookup
relationship
person?
What kind of question is
I want to
that?
know before we go any further here, Bob.
I think